Fast forward, you come over channel so IGH Politics Avenue. Political stories are trending because make headlines in January na EDB exomo. Onya yemo enwa yinsemu. Ye kwa yinsema. Eye Cedi no na ho de na Akuffo. Cedi is going down or has gone down again. Dear next year. Ato Forson away. Na mena ka say nimdifo Joe Jackson and lawyer Law.Kpebu and mom cake home nimdifo attraction ya omoye insemu pensim yen semre yen ko ne yen hwe dientia amasidi na ho de no eso atekra.
One, there's no dispute now that there was some intervention by the central bank in the market over the last 7 to 8 months. Now, that intervention has been withdrawn. The structure of the economy hasn't changed that much. So clearly sustaining this appreciation was going to be a problem. Juxtapose that with the losses that the president talks about. The 50% reduction in remittances, exporters losing, real estate also losing, and even the GRA itself coming out to say, well, because of this appreciation of the Cedi, there's 30% loss in the revenue projections for the year. What should be the thinking, especially because we're talking about 13 Cedis, 12 Cedis, 13 Cedis now? Certainly, the revenue projections would have been done with the 14, 15 Cedis at the beginning of the year. What should be the thinking going forward in terms of sustaining what we have seen now? Because any level of unpredictability doesn't do us any good from where we sit now. Kazo.
Yeah. So basically, like you said, from what Professor Bobkin said, once the IMF is coming to town and the central bank is withdrawn, okay, it just tells you that, well, this cannot be the end of the central bank's intervention. I'm sure when the IMF leaves, the central bank will look at them. Yes, because certainly, I mean,
they always do.
Yes. When the sheriff is out of the town, then they will have a field day, or when the cat is away, then the mouse will play. Yes, we would need them to consistently intervene. But of course, you are making the point that it was excessive, right? Yes, but as for the intervention, as I've said, I've grown up with it over 2 decades. Those days from business school. And I always remember the US-China wars over this currency thing. You open, like you go to America, you watch TV, and then the locals are railing. Businesses are railing that no, China is fixing the currency. China is fixing the currency. China is fixing their currency. And making...
They wanted to promote their export.
Excellent, you know. And look, over time, you know how much the US owes China?
Yeah.
Lots of money, beyond your imagination. So, yes, over 20 years, consistently fixing their currency to make sure that their exports are cheaper. And it's worked for them. It's worked for them. So for me, I mean, from what I've seen, you know, when you see something at a youthful age and eventually at this age, you see that China is top. They're like, let our central bank do it. I mean, the IMF can complain from time to time. Look, truth be told, this whole IMF checking and all this, they are also part of the problem. They are also part of the problem.
In the IMF?
Yes. They've always been a part of the problem. IMF and World Bank. Look, FinSAP, PAMSCAT, Structural Adjustment Program, right? All of them, check all the IMF programs. People will tell you that these are a scratch on the surface. Deal with the root causes. But they appear to do so, but soon the politics of the IMF, World Bank catches up, and then they don't hold us to account. So the programs don't achieve the desired results, and yet they make money off us. So, yes.
Hang on a minute. They don't hold us to account, is what you were saying.
Yes.
But if we can't discipline ourselves, we expect somebody from outside to come and discipline us.
But it's our money they use in developing. You know how much slavery made them, etc. We haven't received reparations.
That's a completely different argument.
So it's an argument to make that morally they owe us a duty to help.
Agreed.
Yes, so the terms are not good enough.
But the challenge I have is that we seem
to go away, walk around with a victim mentality.
It's not victim. It's reparation.
And to say that, somebody always has to come and hold a big stick over our heads before we do the right thing.
They took our resources away.
Other countries that do the right thing.
So, gentlemen,
they took our resources away. They took our human beings, took our gold. To date, they are taking. Okay, and taking. And we're saying that return something substantial.
Well, in the end.
So they are a big part of the problem.
Yes.
They are big IMF, World Bank. They are actually the cause of our problem.
We'll still have
Their politics is too much.
We will still have to do our own homework well. I mean, they are there. If we get things right.
We have our money in their
If we get things right, we're not going to have to go to them begging or seeking an intervention with all the conditionalities that comes with it.
You didn't get the right price for your gold and cocoa. You haven't seen cases of LIBOR being rigged. Huh? The cocoa and the gold prices, who determines? The thing is so clean. But people were convicted for rigging LIBOR, Barclays Bank, the employees, etc. You see it. Of course. So this is a very complex thing. Sometimes, look, don't just think that these Bretton Woods institutions, they are there for you. No, they are there to continue to press you down. That's what the whole system is about. So when you just sit and think anything IMF throws at you is kosher, we are wrong. Look, you've forgotten the history. In the 80s, the Jamaican Prime Minister, Manley, okay, yes, and then other African countries came together. They said, listen, this World Bank, IMF terms are not good. They want a new development bank that would be softer, that would cater to us developing countries. What did the Prime Minister of UK, Margaret Thatcher at the time, say? And the President of the US, Reagan? They said no, they would not. So they opposed the formation of the development bank that would properly help us. And they continue this IMF World Bank thing. So right from day one, the whole system is being rigged. It's been rigged. You take our resources through slavery, you take our gold, you take our cocoa, okay, very cheap. Then it comes in very expensive, right, in chocolate, etc. And you think the system will ever be fair? No. So a huge part of it is the IMF World Bank system, these Bretton Woods institutions. They are a great chunk of our poverty. You've taken so much. Give us in reparations. Let's agree that, look, give us so much back in reparations. Let's see. Bank of England, US Federal Reserve. You know how much they were making from slavery? You know how much they were making from slavery? Today they are there. You think they got it free? They took our resources. So return part, make it more beneficial to us. The current system doesn't help us, apart from our structural problems. Yes, I recognize Gadgisberg and the rest. But I'm saying that if they really want, look at even this, the last IMF program. We all know that, look, this asset declaration law is such a huge problem. So civil society fought and they added it that, okay, let's strengthen the asset declaration law. How many years on? You see the law has not been passed. Akuffo kept promising from one bar.
And the IMF couldn't.
Exactly. I tell you that IMF, this conspiracy, until you understand their politics, and yet they are making money off us. So you think they do it for free? They take fees.
Remember that the IMF, the World Bank, they are banks.
They're banks.
Like what you manage.
No, my point is that we should apply our own discipline. Nobody is out there for us. Nobody is out there for us. We are responsible for our welfare. We are responsible for rooting out corruption. We are responsible for being disciplined. And
you see Ofuriata, you see FBI, you see they are being slow.
Okay, but you see, now, but I think that the issue is in as much as there would be some legitimacy to the issues that Law.Kpebu raises.
If you read the literature,
certainly
it is well grounded.
Yes, it does not also take away our domestic responsibility to ensure that we do what is within our control.
The man is sitting on your neck.
But it doesn't mean they are not the ones who engineer corruption amongst us in any way. Here,
they are an integral part of it.
Government officials engaging in corruption.
Where does the money go?
Government officials engaging in corruption.
They are the enablers. The money, where does it go? Is the money not in the US, UK, and what are you saying?
No.
They are the enablers. The Western countries. They are the enablers. That's where the money is.
Of what exactly?
The corruption. Where is the money today? Where is Ofuriata? Where is most of his resources? It's in the US.
But how
UK,
does it,
the other countries
you're talking about the IMF and the World Bank. I mean,
yes, but where do they come from? Who controls them?
How do you then pin it down to
the IMF belongs to the Europeans, then the World Bank to the Americans. Oh, you don't know? That's a convention.
But you're talking about they being enablers of
yes, that's enabling.
There's a point of
because where is the money? Where is the money? Follow the money. You will find out that it's in their banks.
Okay. If we put structures in place to deal with the corruption, we're not going to be talking about the enablers. That's why you point to asset declaration as one of the measures that you were hoping to be put in place to deal with public sector corruption or corruption among government officials. That's what we wanted. It's within our control. We made that proposal. And the IMF bought into it. It was added to part of the conditionalities. Now it has not been materialized. That act of we demanding that assets should be declared publicly is within our control. It's a measure that we would have exacted, or we are still demanding. Whether the IMF likes it or not, can we use other means to achieve the same purpose of having the asset declaration law reviewed? Because the president has said it. It is not dependent on the IMF to dictate whether or not asset declaration is reviewed to have it now get that clause of publication and verification of our assets. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, for me, I think it's within their mandate. That's why they agreed. If they couldn't help, then why is it part of the agreement?
So if the IMF doesn't now agree to it, we can't do anything about it?
We saw that the politicians would not do it readily. So quickly we saw that, okay, the IMF is the one giving this money. He who pays the piper calls the tune. So we agreed that, okay, let's pass it there. And the IMF agreed, and now the IMF is dancing, okay, kabuki. Yeah, it's become theater. The Americans call it kabuki theater. Oh, you would dance, but nothing will come out of it. It's become theater. How many years on? You see, so if they thought they couldn't do it, why did they agree? Is it part of the deception? If you say you will not help us to pass an asset declaration law, why did you add it to the agreement? Simple. Is it to deceive our citizens? Is it to deceive us? So that is it. I tell you, as for this, they are on our necks. They are actually, look, if we made the system right, okay, with these Bretton Woods institutions, a lot, we'll get funds cheaper, etc., then they'll be more committed. Because like you said, look at PAMSCAD, all the projects. Today, you go out and they'll come and say, no, bring this IMF this in program. Then, after 3-4 years, we are back. Now 17 times. So since independence, every about 4 years or so, we are back with them. So what? So what kind of institution are you that the person keeps coming to borrow all the time? You can't help.
They are a bank, so they don't want to lose a faithful client.
So is it how banking is tricky? Banking is tricky.
Thank you. But so that we also don't lose sight of what is our responsibility, the responsibility of leadership, to do what is within our control, to ensure that we get things right and not push over that responsibility and always blame an external intervention for what we have to do. I think that's where my point of departure is. But within this third quarter, the central bank made a little over $120 million available for these bulk oil distributors to import finished products into the country. I bring this in because of where you sit, okay? And the interaction of your work with the currency and what is happening right now. The president has talked about the appreciation of the cedi and how that interacted with other sectors within the economy and how much we were losing. This withdrawal of the intervention by the central bank in the market, plus the fact that the president says we're looking for the true value of the cedi. How are the coming months going to look like? And how will that also this position interact with the various sectors of the economy as we have seen in the last 8 months?
Okay, so Alfred, once again, good morning. I think it's only fair that I acknowledge my senior
authorities to step in if the fluctuations or the volatility is way beyond what is acceptable. The central bank can come onto the market and buy or sell dollars on its own account, and there's nothing. That is why the central bank builds reserves. The reserves is for a reason.
Thank you.
It's for a reason. That is why we have, because if you leave the market purely to just forces of demand and supply, people lose their head.
Reserves are not an end in itself. They are a means to an end. And the reserves are there to provide value to our currency and to provide stability when we need.
And all over the world, they do that. Countries buy gold to back their currency. They do all kinds of intervention. Look, this is see in the U.S. There's pressure on the U.S. Fed to cut interest rates.
Exactly.
How people see the market and all of that. Okay, so I think to a large extent, the coordination, the central bank, monetary policy, because first of all, the government set the tone with the way that they presented the 2025 budget. And in fact, they've kept to it largely. If you look at the half-year report, okay, expenditure cut was much more on track than even the target and all of that. And the president, during the media encounter, indicated that they have recorded primary surplus of 1.1% and all of that. Of course, we know that we need to balance short-term macro stability with medium to long-term economic transformation and then manage that trade-off so that going forward, we begin to also spend progressively, especially in the area of infrastructure and all of that, so that we'll be able to have the kind of economy that every Ghanaian
would desire. Law.Kpebu, just you wanted to make an intervention, because then we'll get into the other aspect of the conversation.
I mean, if you do comparative analysis, central banks intervening in the market, it's not only us, all over. I mean, what I do remember is that for decades, the U.S. had always been fighting China. That China was intervening too much. I mean, I still can remember from the
China
early
was
2000s.
intervening to keep its currency
low.
low.
Exactly. Yeah. So all these decades, so as you keep it, I'm just remembering the pictures over 20 years now.
I think the concern has been about the quantum of intervention. I mean, in our case. So that and the period that we're talking about, that's where the issue is, and that's and that's why
my argument is that a rate of 12, 13, it will be a far more defensible position to intervene than the rate of 10.
Okay.
And that obviously at 10, the Cedi was grossly overvalued.
So that's what another statement the president made, that the Cedi was undervalued at 16 cedis to the dollar. And also overvalued at 10 cedis to the dollar, as we saw in the past few months gone by. And so as a result, there has to be some leveling. How do we determine that really the 13 cedis is the leveling up of the Cedi? It's a value that is true and reflective of what the Cedi should be?
It's an estimate. And you build models and you look at what the other numbers are telling you. Look at what inflation is telling you. You look at what the exchange interest rates, imports, and also what is happening in the international market. Remember that the Cedi is really what translates what happens out there with us. You also look at what you're doing internally in terms of competitiveness of your businesses and your discipline, where your fiscal side is concerned. So it is an estimate. And with all estimates, the only thing you can be sure is that it will be precisely wrong. That the actual value will be different, but it is an estimate. But it is a far more defensible position than 10.5.
You mean this 13 cedis is sustainable and defensible?
Defensible. Sustainable. Remember, one of the arguments we've made here clearly is that a gradual appreciation is not even bad. We will accept it. But so long as it doesn't go spike up, spike down, spike up, spike down. If it goes steadily, we will accept it and deal with it. In fact, because of all the structural problems in this economy that are yet to be fixed.
And that is why speculation is ripe. Right?
Yes. You know, so it will be difficult to see the Cedi appreciate long term unless those challenges are fixed. Those problems have persisted for a long time. But so we are prepared to accept even a gradual, slow appreciation. Depreciation
to fix them. Yes. I saw the launch of the Nkukon Kitinkiti, my beloved project. Right? They said they're starting the processing plant. Yeah, listen, I saw somewhere that the president had launched it. So hopefully, when Nkukon Kitinkiti comes on board and there's a lot of poultry domestically, it means
because we spend more than $200 million importing.
Can you imagine?
Poultry products and all of that.
Together, the food basket is $3 billion. That's how much
estimates of as high as 300 plus million in just poultry.
Yeah. And rice.
But back to where we were.
We are importing water too now. We spend more than $11 million importing water in 2023.
So now that's one that we'll get because it ties directly into the Galamsey conversation and all of that. You say so over $11 million importing water into this country.
But it didn't even start last year. It's been there for a while.
If you track it's been increasing over time. We're spending more money to import water into
and if we are not careful, Ghana. That's going to be the ultimate business.
And that's where the concern is. And Law.Kpebu, to the extent that, yes, you want to just conclude on the point you're making.
No, I was just making a comment.
Please.
That anybody who asks me, what are the growth businesses you invest in? You know the number one business I say? Water.
Okay.
Water. Buy a Bowser. Buy a water Bowser, a water tanker. Get a filtration plant. Because the water wars in this country are going to be incredible. And some of us see buying a sachet of water one of these days as high as 5 Cedis for a sachet of water.
Hopefully we don't get there.
The entrepreneurs are talking.
You see,
we ain't some hold a tin course or channel no so. Mamma was a soldier, but I say, wajimbre, that's a neighbor.